Hello everyone, you're especially welcome to this edition of Westerly Podcast on Real People's Issue. My name remains Michael C. George, and I'm not the only one as usual in the studio. This is an edition that talks about matters and issues that has to do with teenagers and young people. And today we have, of course, our co-host, Mrs. Abigail. It's nice having you in this studio. You look very beautiful.
Thank you.
And also today is amazing. We have someone who is special, someone who is unique. He's not just a pastor, he's a business development strategist, and God has used him to do different things in the lives of people. Today we have Pastor Uche Mbaike in the studio. You're welcome so much, sir.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Thank
It's
you
good
for
to have you. It's good to have you. All right, so today in this edition of the podcast, we'll be talking about depression, the way out. Yes, I know a lot of young people out there, man, depression is killing you. Depression is dealing with you. It's as if there's no way out, and I don't know what has led to it, but stay tuned to this podcast and you'll be getting solutions to find your way out of depression. So over to the co-host, Mrs. Abigail.
Yeah, you're right, Nigel. Depression is really eating up young people these days, and I just want to say to you people, like, I know some of you are watching and depressed, but just relax. God is going to visit you in this edition.
Yeah.
So I just want to ask Pastor Uche,
yeah.
when can you say someone is depressed?
Okay. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Western Podcast. It's a pleasure being here. I'm excited with what is going on. It's really a privilege to speak to young ones concerning depression. All right, one can be said to be depressed when the person is. There are so many definitions. There are so many causes. But when you're having a low on your mood, so I'm speaking to young people. Many of us are depressed because we are constantly on a low mood, and then you lose interest, and then sometimes you tend to think negative about yourself, and sometimes you separate yourself from the things that fascinate you, things that you love doing. So depression has a lot of causes and several manifestations, but one can say to be depressed when one is actually on a low or negative vibes, which we call, and constantly on that dimension. So I would say you are depressed. You're losing interest with what you love doing or once loved doing.
Right.
Thank you.
So basically what you're saying is that you say someone is depressed when the person has lost interest in the things he or she loves doing and all that. Maybe the person likes sporting, maybe one thing or the other has happened and the person no longer has interest on that. Low mood, emotional downcast. Does it really have to do with depression and all that?
Yes. Like I said, it has a lot of manifestations, but
can we have more of these manifestations?
Okay.
Like isolating yourself.
Yeah. Feeling, for example, now you're feeling like a failure. So you lose strength. Something like you're thinking, you lose strength.
Yeah.
Basically, you've lost interest,
the
energy,
yeah.
the vibe. You're depressed. You're constantly thinking on negative vibes. That's one thing that is common about depressed people. The negative vibe, and these vibes can be perceived. Sometimes it could be mild, it could be severe. There are some forms of depression could even lead to suicidal thoughts. So I think we'll get there. It's crazy world we live in, and depression is real. It's real. People are suffering from severe depression. It's a mental condition too. Psychiatric mental. Yes, it's also a mental condition because there are two ways you can manage from therapy to medications and all that. But I think I have one of the sure ways to being a pastor. I've had the opportunity of meeting young people and counseled a lot of them that have been depressed or going through depression. It's really something we tend to neglect. So sometimes you could just easily wave it away. But these are real problems that people are suffering from. So it's a severe condition.
Okay, so having known what depression is, are there factors, are there things that can really bring about, that can lead someone into depression, especially young people, teenagers, youth, are there things that can really lead them into depression? Because everywhere you go, in fact, you watch somebody's status, you just see something like, I'm depressed. So sometimes I wonder why it's becoming common. So what are the factors that can lead to?
I think the engagement with social media is one of the leading cause of depression. I'm telling you, it's crazy. And then I know a lot of things. Maybe you failed in exam, abuse could lead to depression. But I'm going to get back to social media last because it's top on the list as we speak now. So you failed your exam, it could lead into depression. You have been abused, where you lose your self-esteem. It manifests in another low self-esteem, or there's another form of depression. It could even manifest in violence. People can be so depressed that the only way to let it out is through violence. So things that cause it, plenty things. Sometimes you feel you're not meeting up. Let me get back to social media. So I think I believe in timing and seasons. And then I want to encourage young people out there. There were some things. I could remember one time I was praying and believing God for Nokia Express Music.
Wonderful.
I felt left behind. I don't know if the phone still exists.
Who knows where it is now?
Then finally I bought the phone. Then I was washing. Then instead of picking up the soap, I picked up the phone and dropped it in water.
Oh my God.
It was disastrous for me.
Wow.
I was depressed.
Your prayer point.
Yeah, because I couldn't see myself getting another Express Music soon. So depressed, these young people is a form of hopelessness. You don't see yourself surviving, doing better than you have done already. For example, you failed an exam. We're going to get to how to cope with it. Yeah. You failed an exam. You see yourself as a failure. This failing an exam is an event. You don't generalize it that it's just an event. Yes. Wow. So you don't say, I'm a failure because an event happened. Sometimes it's not what happens to you, but what you make out of that. Because someone else will fail the exam and study hard. Like, for example, and then there's people go through traumatizing situations. From me now, as a believer, okay, I'm speaking as a believer now. So you can, I believe ministries can come out of depression.
Wow.
For example, it's not really what happened to you, but what you make out of it. I heard a story about a woman that is championing the cause of drunk driving. Okay. Her son was knocked down by a mad driver. So she formed an association, Mothers Against Drunk Drivers.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So you see, it was a traumatic experience, but
she made something good
out of it. So she overcame her depression. So social media, let me get back to social media. Yeah. You see your mates all with iPhones and all that. Some of them are make-believe. Some of them are living fake lives.
Fake lives, like fake.
Very fake. Seriously. Fake. Social media, so you are looking at, those days when you want to take a picture, you go look for a very nice, beautiful car. You stand by that. But these days, social media has promoted it. You see people even entering the car, driving. Probably it could be rented.
Oh my God.
And then you're killing yourself, or probably you see, and you're depressed. You see some people in marriage, they are loving themselves. You say, this is my dream marriage. But you don't really know what goes on behind the scene. I know most of the young people I'm speaking to might not probably be married, but they are looking forward to a fake life. So this social media has promoted depression. You see, it say pepper them. It depend them, in the sweetness, and then some people are even depressed and they are letting out steam. But that steam they are letting out just to get over their depression is causing another person depression.
Wow.
You see somebody taking alcohol, for example, trying to deal with depression, and then but they paint it like this is it. I'm living the good life. Well, the person is, because these things cannot really be seen, obviously. I said the depression, you look at the person, mood swing, low. But some people, they are so depressed and then they have superiority complex. They are showing you that everything is awesome.
Everything is okay.
But behind the camera, they are dying, they are going down. Wow. So a lot of things, but I think for now, we need to deal with social media.
Okay, so social media. Now that we know these factors, I'm sure there are impacts. So, what are the impacts of depression in spirit, soul, body? Okay. Positive, negative?
It's negative vibes. Depression is negative. You shouldn't be in the spirit. If you're a Christian, the Bible said the joy of the Lord is our strength. So when there's absence of joy, which is one of the characteristics of depression, you don't have the enthusiasm is gone. You lose strength in your spirit. and it affects you in your body when you're very depressed. There's an experiment that was once conducted about negative words. A man spoke negative words to somebody, and then physically they say lift up this object. As he was lifting up, they were speaking negative words. He started losing strength in the body.
Wow.
But and then after a while, they say hold on to that same weight. But they were speaking inspirational word, love, prosperity, good, and it felt physically. So depression has effect in our spirit and our body. Then soul, of course, we know about our soul. I think one of the leading, let me speak about a form of depression, which is called rejection. Rejection is the inability to give or receive love. Rejection. A lot of ladies are rejected. They don't have the ability to give or receive love. So you tell a lady, I love you. She thinks you're lying.
Yeah.
Not because she cannot receive the love and she can't give it out.
Is it as a result of an experience she had had? She had or something?
It's a sickness of the soul. I think depression could lead to this rejection I'm talking about. So it's crazy because when you see people out there, you think they are whole. They are sick. Of course, some people are not sick in the body, but they are sick in their soul. So this rejection is severe. So it will destroy your relationships. I've seen people trying to, superiority complex. That's a form of dealing with rejection. They are suffering. Yeah, you see a lady telling you, I'm the boss, I'm the queen lady, she's suffering.
The product of depression.
Yes. So, and then it manifests in inferiority complex. They lack vibe. They feel, you come to, I once saw a guy when I was 7. This guy is a Yoruba guy. I know Yorubas are, quoted to be very, they greet, they are loyal. But this guy's old, he bows. Good morning. And then he was our senior badge, executive. Wow. Good morning, sir. Good morning. I kept telling my friend, something is wrong with this guy. He said, no, the guy is respect. I said, no, this is not respect. This is depression. He feels everybody is better. You're always bowing down. You're always going for the seat behind. You're always feeling disadvantaged. Normally you say, this guy is very respectful. That's how we tell me. But I said, no, this guy is rejected. He's sick. But the sickness is not obvious to all. It's a sickness of the soul, like I discussed rejection. So this one is characterized by inferiority complex. It could be superiority complex anyway, so people just trying to be bossy and all that. So when you just talk to somebody, they feel you've insulted them. They are battling something in their soul, on their inside. They need help. So sometimes when you see these people that insult people anyhow, they are just trying to gain value, which is false value, like false life. So I told my friend, this guy is sick. But it's not obvious to all anyway. The way some doctors look at you and tell you, something is wrong, and then you feel you're okay. All right, so it's all negative vibes. The impact is disastrous. It could lead to vices. Most of the vices in the community is act of this. Yes, a lot of vices. Depression. Some people take to alcohol. They drink. Of course, I know with social media, I keep pointing social media. They paint it like living large. Yeah. So sometimes some people, it even leads to people trying to show that they are strong by engaging in violence. I've seen that. And then people living fake lives too. You're depressed. The only way you can find solace is in shopping. So you're always trying to. You want to make friends. You don't want to be friendly. There are some people, they love making friends, but they're not friendly. They are sick.
And someone that is not friendly make friends.
Yeah, I didn't say they don't make relief. They want to. You see somebody that meets you. There are some people, they meet you today. They just want to. I want to be your friend. Where do you stay? I want to come to your house. I want to. But you see that sometimes they intrude into your privacy. Then you tell them, okay, it's okay. There are boundaries. They feel very bad. Somebody comes into your house and wants to get into your bed. You say, no, he feels very bad. You know that this person is sick. He's struggling.
If the person was whole, the person should understand boundaries.
Yes. So depression is it destroys your healthy self-esteem. So and then, for example, like I said, the impact, it's these things we see on the street. You see somebody that is so depressed. The only way is to dress indecently. That's the only way she feels will gain value. So some of these vice, somebody make crazy hair. just to get value, to get to be portrayed as a 21st century lady and a guy. I'm speaking to young people basically. You see something, your guys are, and then you go into cultism. All these if you're in the east, in Makwanda, now we day here, now we they make things happen. But after that, when you're on the high, fake high, just like you took energy drink, you still, they even go lower.
Wow.
So and you go back, you sob and you cry, and then if you ever enter into relationship, that's a problem. If you ever get into a relationship with a rejected lady, it's a problem, because she of course, I said she cannot receive or give love. You tell her I love you is a problem. You say you don't tell her I love you, it's another problem. So am I not good enough for you? You say you're good. Then you enter into a relationship. I'm talking about how it affects our relationship. Of course, I've talked about how it affects our character. Some people, you can't even retain a job. It's that bad. So in a relationship, you see some ladies, they are get into a relationship, they are not whole, they are sick in their soul. The most severe form is the mental one, which is obvious. But this one I'm talking about, you see in a relationship, you see the lady doesn't have healthy self-esteem. You come, you say, okay, my dear, sorry, can I talk to you later? It doesn't mean that you don't have my time. You understand what I'm saying? And then these things lead to all this. You want to show love, you get into sexual addiction, sexual perversion. You just want to be. So I think there's a solution, there's a way out, but it's negative all through.
Wow. So I've heard of situations whereby people committed suicide as a result of depression. What can you say about that?
Okay,
there's young people, not even
I once heard the story of a 20-year-old guy that committed suicide.
It's disastrous. For me, from my own point, being a pastor, I can tell you, there are medical conditions, okay, but let me speak from my field. Depression is also a spirit.
Okay.
There's a spirit involved in it. And then these things work in network. These things they say in English, birds of a feather flock together. So, sometimes it could be failure. Somebody just failed an exam. Like I said, it's an event. And then the person gets depressed and start thinking, does it mean I'm a failure? That's why when we get to how to cope out of it, we'll see what to do in that direction. And does it mean I'm a failure? Does it mean there's nothing good out of me? Everybody passed WAEC, I failed, and all that. As you're thinking, then a voice starts speaking to you. That's the spirit. Say, Chinaya, Chinaya, what's the solution? Say, end it. You keep hearing, end it. My failure of an exam, you have gone to depression. From a little failure, it has entered depression. Now depression is full blown. So end it. Some people that have been very depressed, they think they hallucinate. They tell you, I heard voices.
Wow.
Because you've opened your soul, remember. So there's an infiltration. So the young people, you do some things, you don't really know the grievous implications to what you're doing. You engage in drug, you're opening up your soul. You engage in alcohol.
Wow.
You bride. And then when that thing comes, you say, end it. You see, the person can't see beyond WAEC. Can't think that exam, can't think straight again. Stop. Then the feeling of hopelessness comes. The suicide is as a result of hopelessness.
Okay.
So anybody billionaires commit suicide. Not just young people. It's not just a financial thing. That's why I said there is an influence that comes upon the person, and it weakens the person's soul and spirit and subdues the person, and the person goes to committing suicide.
Wow.
The event could happen to 10 persons. So why would you be the one with the suicidal thoughts?
Wow.
So even as much as we give antidepressants to help people that are depressed, but there is an influence. I'm telling you seriously. I'm telling everyone out there. When we discuss the way out, we'll see there's something beyond the natural that is responsible for this severe form of suicidal thoughts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So that means for young people, it doesn't matter what you've gone through. It doesn't matter the failure. It doesn't matter the disappointment. Don't put so much thought into it. Because from what Pastor Che is saying, when you put so much
You
thought
open up
into
your
these
soul.
negative experiences, depression comes in. And when depression comes in, an influence comes upon you that begins to tell you things that are not really right. You begin to engage yourself in certain activities that can now lead you even to suicide. So no matter what happens to you, no matter the experience, no matter the failures, the disappointment, don't let it weigh you down. Don't let it weigh you down. Wow, this is really, really serious. So people who are now depressed, I know as we are talking about this, somebody is right there watching us who is depressed, and the person is wondering, how can I come out of this? What is the way out? Zim the way. So what is the way out of this?
I think firstly I'll say godly counsel or the right counsel. That's why those days in school we had guidance and counseling units.
Yes.
Guidance and counseling units, because some people even got depressed from the course. They say you must do science. You say I'm doing art, and then you failed. And then, it starts from the secondary school. I don't know if it works now, but I know that every school has guidance and counseling units. Even in the university, they should have all these deans. You should be able to interact with people and really help them out. So godly counsel, you need to seek counsel, because if some forms of depression tend to isolate you. So the first thing you're suffering is what, like I said, social media. Nobody cares about me. Nobody is me and me. No. You need to talk to someone. Talk to the right person. So that's why I said seeking godly counsel. And then another way out of, if you have godly friends that are inspiring. Sometimes life is high and low. Sometimes we're all on a low. We need to move on. Sometimes some say we have positive vibes and negative vibes. In positive vibes, there are even positive high, positive low. Some people say low vibration and high vibration. So even in the positive, sometimes you lose your enthusiasm. It does. Life happens to everybody. You move on. Life happens. So, but when you talk to your friends, I think second thing I will advocate is godly friends. Number one, godly counsel, godly friends. You can speak to. They will inspire you. That's why I call inspiration. Sometimes you don't feel motivated. You're losing it. You feel you've not made it. But when you have people that keep speaking positively into your life, you're going to make it. It's not the end. There's a higher and bigger and better things to achieve. It helps you. So and thirdly, I will also advocate, if you're going through depression right now, I will advocate you give your life to Christ. I know what I'm talking about. Being in this, I've seen people. It's at least I said there's an influence also. People that have been very depressed will tell you that they felt this influence. It's real. Everybody can say it's not real. Anybody can say whatever they think, but I think it's real. So this will help them in coping through this. And then I think I will advocate other things, that therapy. You need to go out, take a walk, engage in sports, engage in games, recreational activities, free your mind. Sometimes free your mind, relax. If you can travel, go on vacation, because some things can even come. Sometimes your depression could be as a result of fatigue. Yes, stress could be. You are fatigued, you're stressed out, and then you can easily lead to depression. So some people even get depressed with all this money and I'm sick. Because the truth is that you don't have it all in life. So you need people to help you with that. You don't. Nobody has it all. Nobody has it all. Some people have been so depressed in their marriage. I know I'm speaking to young people depressed, but I think meeting meeting Jesus makes a difference. Some people are depressed in their marriage, childlessness, a lot, and then a lot. But I think if you can give your life to Christ truly, there's also an influence that will help you come up. That's the influence of the Holy Spirit.
So we've heard what have been said so far. Depression, giving your life to Christ. For me, that's like the number one thing. It's up on the list. Giving your life to Christ. So are there anything else you want to say to the young people out there?
Yes, for example, maybe because you talked about hopelessness. So is there hope?
Yes, and I think like the story I heard about the boy that committed suicide, he started with isolation.
Okay.
Like he didn't want to talk to his mom, didn't want to talk to his siblings, always indoors. And what can you say to the parents first? Because the mom noticed it. But she just like maybe it's one of those things. Then eventually when she got to the balcony, she saw the boy. The boy has hung himself already.
Wow, that's a tragic experience. But depression, it's progressive. Like as a parent now, from the mom, you should know your child. This is not my child. Comes back from school. Sometimes depression could come as a bully. Somebody bullied him in school and he's feeling.
I experienced that one.
Okay,
Oh my God.
you'll be very depressed. Like, they bully you. So for me, I think it nearly happened when I was in secondary school. One guy like that, a senior prefect for that matter. So who would you run to? He spots me, you. So I was like, so whenever I remember going to school, I associate it with a negative experience. So after a while, you see, I will have resentment towards education. And after a while, maybe I will not fail. But they won't notice the root was bully. Sometimes when depression manifests, you won't really trace the root cause. So I think you should be friendly with your children. You should be able to understand the changes. This is a very, your boy that is all jumping and comes back from school with a depressed mood, a sad mood. You should be able to ask, what happened? How was your day? Why are you sad? And then you should be able to cheer the person up. The person opens up and tells you, mommy, I this, that. You should be able to talk your children
sometimes the child might not even open up the first time.
Yes. That's where you have a duty to do as a parent. You keep trying to, look for what, and then monitor. This guy, what kind of books has he been reading? What kind of friends has he been keeping? You understand what I'm saying? There must be a change. And then you ask the question. I think
about hopelessness.
Hopelessness.
So how can
like I said, giving your life to Christ. After a while, something happened. Nigeria, where we live in, wherever you're watching us from, but Nigeria, when you listen to news, you will get depressed. Every time I limited me personally, had to go. I stopped listening to most of the news because our political news is filled with depression. I have to say it's so unfortunate that we have politicians that don't care about us. Yes. So whenever you turn on the TV, 50 billion naira missing, 3 people kidnapped. So it can cause mental stress. So reduce your news. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not joking. If you really want to keep your mental sanity, if you're watching us from this country, reduce the way you listen to news. It can be depressing. You don't have food and somebody is running, oh my God, going for vacation with 2 billion. Increase inspirational books. Increase inspirational books. Keep wonderful friends that can cheer you up. Hopelessness. Let me say this, please. Now, there is the scripture. It's okay if I say it's in the scripture. I love, I think Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 4. To him that is joined to the living, there is hope. A living dog is better than a dead lion. That is so inspirational for me. And there's another one in Job that said there is hope for a tree. Even though it be cut down, it will sprout again. That's why I advocated the ministry of the Holy Ghost. If I advocate it, wherever I say, oh God, this depression, sometimes drugs can't deal with it. Yeah, I know there are medications, antidepressants, and then some people, I've seen it, there are so many forms, we are limited. Postnatal depression and all that. You see a lady just gave birth. But it is what you did during conception and during the time you're carrying the would matter. All this is not normal. It's not normal. What you do when you're carrying the baby matters too. Some people, they say they are even rejected from the womb. So I encourage the people, the mother, speak positively to your children, even from the womb, from conception. Speak into their lives. Now there is hope for anybody out there that is hopeless already. There is hope. I told you when my hope was in express music, but right now, if you give it to me now, it won't really serve me. But then I was all my life was revolving around. Another time it was BlackBerry too. BlackBerry. If you don't have a BlackBerry, you are depressed already. You are not meeting up. So things will work out for good. I'm speaking to you. It will work out. It's turn around for good. There are ways, and also let me say this. I will You need an inspiration. If you can get an inspirational club, fine. But if the church you go to matters a lot. Somebody says something. Why are there proliferation of churches? Why are there churches everywhere? In Nigeria, let me tell you, one of the things the churches have done and doing is that they give people hope every Sunday. If you think, yes, you say, people are just, the churches everywhere. Why is it's not useless.
It's not useless.
With all the whole churches everywhere, giving people, inspiring people every day, people are still depressed.
So imagine what will happen
If there is-
not taken away.
So I think you should find a Bible-believing church and attend. I'm not joking. Because somebody was like, churches are everywhere. I say everywhere you see people dancing. Do you know what dancing does to you? After a week of traffic, a week of fuel, subsidy removal, it's crazy. So you go, you dance, and then dance away your sorrows, and then believe God. Some people, even if it doesn't, it works. There is an immediate effect of attending church services. You are inspired. You go, you are energized to face the next day, the next week. You know that whatever happens, God is in charge, He's in control. You positively confess to your week. So I think if you start, so get godly friends, get godly counsels, and then you come out of it, and then keep watching Waseni podcast. Stay on this channel. You'll be getting inspired.
Yeah. I think I don't know about that. Have you been depressed before?
Yes, so
Are you serious?
I've been depressed. Okay. I was going to a secondary school. Okay, my primary school. It was a big school. Let me put it school kind of. We had money and then something. No, now. Like you actually say, you don't have it all.
Yeah.
So my brother lost his job, so I had to go to a lower school. So the friends I had then, and whenever I go home, I must pass that place.
Yeah.
So when I see them, they were like, see this girl, you're no longer in our clique. So that thing affected me so much. So you know what? Sometimes I'll wait for them to pass.
Wow.
Yeah.
Before I go home. Sometimes I'll go home later than expected.
Yeah.
But I never told anybody, I just dealt with myself. And thank God, it didn't overwhelm me. But it wants to depress everybody. I feel like everybody has been depressed in one way.
Yes, a lot of things have happened to people that
Life happens.
that has led to depression. Personally, me, I came from a very humble, my background is very humble.
Humble to the ground.
Humility is like that Yoruba guys here. Humility, very humble. So I remember I had this short, this school uniform, my school uniform. We used to wear shorts there. It was torn behind. So my parents had to patch it. And the color they used in patching it was not the exact color with the uniform. Hell, when I wore this my shorts to school, see humiliation.
Wow.
God, they were like, in fact, I became the subject to be studied that day. I went back home. I said, I'm not going to school again. And guess what? My parents insisted that I must wear it till I get to the next class.
Yeah.
So I wore it for a whole time.
Yeah.
A whole time. Any day I remember going to school, I'll start feeling bad.
Yeah.
The thought of the rejection I get from my friends, man, it's imagine. And I know, yes, there are some of us young people, you're in school and you see your fellow schoolmates, bring fine stuff to school, wear good clothing, wear powerful shoes. If you see their cars, and this is the schools are now wearing jeans and polo and all manner of things. No longer the conventional uniform thing and all that. So you can see a lot of things that can really make you depressed. But the truth is this, you need to grow above it. You cannot have it all. Alright, you cannot have it all.
Okay, sorry. Something just came up now. Like something that is in my mind. Broken homes. Yes. When the mom and the dad, they are not together, divorce.
Yeah, it's for example, like I wanted to, pastors, we are prone to depression. Yeah, because
so you mean you suffer depression first?
Yes, we are prone to depression. Why? You turn on your phone, 80% of things, pray for me, I just lost my dad, pray for me, I'm in the hospital, pray for me. Like you said, broken home. Now, I had something, I don't know, I'm feeling bad. So somebody met me yesterday and was talking to me about this. She was sent away from her husband's house, and then only to get home, the mom has left the father.
Wow.
Yeah. It was shocking.
Wow.
And she was going to give the mom take care of the kids. So I go and set my life. So I told you, pastors, that's what I faced yesterday.
Even me right yourself.
Yes, so she was going back. The mom has left the marriage. So broken homes. Anyone that's born with a broken, we're all born with liabilities or assets. If you're born from a broken home, there's a deficit. There's an emotional gap, which I still recommend the Holy Ghost. That will help you, and a good counselor. You need to talk to someone. If you're feeling depressed, just talk to someone. And then, like I said, pastors are prone to that, but we need to rise above it. Because sometimes, one Sunday morning, I on my phone. My daughter just died. You know, so we are on the receiving end of this report, this news. I know you see some of the people, like I'm talking about myself now. So whether I've passed through, I do. I deal with it on a daily.
Wow.
I don't even know what. Since we started talking now, I don't know what would get when I open my phone, and then sometimes you are dealing with these things. But that's why I recommend the ministry of the Holy Ghost, because sometimes you felt, I prayed, it didn't work. Why didn't it work? You see, like questioning what you have believed. Unanswered prayers could lead you to depression. I've seen people. Somebody boldly told me, Pastor, God failed me. I said, what happened? Have you eaten? He said, no. I said, go and eat first. I sent him money to go and eat. You know, and then when you look at it, God did not fail him. He failed himself. He was not productive. He was fired. He said after praying to retain his job, So, but from my side, I received, I know we say positive things, but we still receive evil reports. If you go to the National Daily now, if you want a dose of depression, you go open the National Daily, turn on your television, and then you see something. But the truth is, life happens. 1,000 things to make you smile, 1,000 things to make you sad. Happiness is a choice.
As
the evil is going, there are good things too happening. So I focus on the good. So I turn on my phone now, I'm seeing somebody that was healed. I focus, I choose to celebrate it. I choose to focus on the faithfulness of God.
Wow.
Nobody has it all, like I said. Even the person you're talking to, like I said, pastors are prone to. So somebody you meet your counselor, and then you want the person to counsel. The counselor is struggling.
Exactly, like I heard a funny story. The pastor saying that 2 ladies came for counseling. So he was already sad on his own. So when they came to his office, they were like, "Sir, we have this problem going." They didn't notice that he was not smiling. He was just like looking at them. One of the ladies now asked, "Pastor, what is it?" The pastor started crying. They were the ones that were canceling him.
Wow. So pastors,
yes, very
the
well.
high and the low, just like you say that the rich also cry.
The
rich also cry. Wow, this is wonderful. Wow, before we end this podcast, a lot of things have been said, and I know you're getting value. And very importantly, if you've not subscribed to this this YouTube channel, please make sure you subscribe so you can get information. Take and click the notification button so they can get information whenever videos come up on this channel. All right. So before we go, before I get to the Google, sir, what's your last word? What's your last word of encouragement to someone out there?
If you're going through a lot, I understand. You make it. You definitely will make it. So like I advocated earlier on, get someone, a mentor, a counselor, and give your life to Christ. I advocate it. Jesus works.
Jesus works.
Yes, he works. So do that, and then thank you so much once again. Keep subscribe. Click on notification button and follow these doses or this podcast. I recommend it for your daily growth and well-being. Thank you so much.
So Abigail, before we go, what's your final word?
Okay, I just want to tell you that God is aware.
Sure.
Somebody say God failed me. God will never fail. He knows what you're going through, and He's always willing to help. Just have to open up yourself, let go and let God have His way. And I'm sure God will meet you at that point of end. We've all been there. You're not alone. Wherever you are, just know that you're not alone. We've all been there. and God will see you through.
Yeah.
Wow, wow. Thank you so very much. Thank you for the time. Thank you for the words. Thank you for the impact we receive. So my fellow young people out there, the truth is depression is real and it can ruin your life. But you have to speak out.
Yeah.
Don't die in silence. If you're going through any stuff, see, isolation is one of the powerful tools the enemy uses to kill anybody. Don't get yourself isolated. Talk. Okay, and people will get to help you out. And most importantly, as Pastor Uche has recommended, Jesus works.
Yeah.
Jesus works. Okay, it doesn't matter what people say out there. It doesn't matter what your experience is peculiar. Your experience is unique, and Jesus works for you. Thank you so much for today. Thank you for staying tuned. Thank you for watching us. And we'll be coming your way next time. So as I said earlier, if you're not subscribed to this YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe. Click the notification button so that you get information when video come up for this channel. Thank you so much. It's wonderful having you, Pastor Uche.
Thank you
and
so
we
much.
trust God that we'll also have you again. And
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Abigail, thank you. Bye and see you next time.